morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tuesday, 21st November 2017. This is Winnie Chitaka, empowering Ugandan men and women for the Uganda Youth Collective. I welcome you all to this amazing day that the Lord has made, and let us sure rejoice and be glad. I want to especially welcome those of you women who have joined the Empowering Ugandan Women WhatsApp group. Welcome our sisters. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation and for requesting to join. Welcome to the group. Also for our brothers who are listening, the men's group launches at the end of this month, which is not very far from now. And I encourage you, brothers, if you want to be a part of this group, then do not hesitate to follow us or to message us on our various social media platforms. For example, Facebook. If you go to Facebook, look for Uganda Youth Collective. That's Uganda Youth Collective, and message us on Facebook and express your interest when the group is launched. We will sure look forward to adding you to the group. But listen to me, today I have a slightly more challenging one, or a thought-provoking title for what we're going to think about today and for what we're going to discuss. And the title is simply this: you are not ready for the life you want. Let me repeat that. You are not ready for the life that you want. Winnie, seriously? Why are you saying that, Winnie? Winnie, do you have any idea how much I am suffering? Winnie, do you have any idea how much I hate the job I'm doing right now? Winnie, do you have any idea how hard it is for you to make such a statement? I may not have an idea, but based on a question that I asked yesterday, it's led me to saying this, and I say it unapologetically, and I repeat it again and say this: you are not ready for the life you want. Allow me to explain. Yesterday, those of you that were in the group or that listened to an audio within the group, I asked this question: what would you do if money wasn't a factor? For those of you that were not in the group, let me ask you the same question. What would you do if money wasn't a factor? If money wasn't your problem, what would you do? What do I mean? How would you feel if you had all the money that you wanted? What would you say? What would your speech be like? Would you change the tone of your voice? How would you walk? Can you picture it? Can you imagine? Just imagine. Just for a minute, just think about it. Money is not a factor. How would you walk? Where would you live? What would you have? What would you drive? Just imagine. The question was, what would you do if money wasn't a factor? And yesterday in the WhatsApp group, it was it was full of dreams. It was full of promises, when many ladies came to life. Even some of you that I didn't even think you were in the group, hiding in the background. Many of you came forward and you said things like you would want to build an orphanage, you would want to build a kindergarten school, you would want to go into agriculture, you would want to do all these amazing things, all these dreams. You came to life. However, in my pursuit to help you discover who you are, which is the reason why this WhatsApp group, or why the empowering movement is all about. In my pursuit to help you discover who you are created to be, I remember I have previously asked you, what would you like to be? Many have delayed to respond to this question. And the biggest majority said, I don't know. I don't know, Winnie. I haven't really thought about it. I don't know. And many have responded this way, and they've said, well, Winnie, I'll do anything as long as it's better than what I am doing right now. Can you see the difference? The first question is asking, what would you do if money wasn't a factor? The second question is asking, what would you like to be? And I found that many of you took a long time, and actually many did not even answer the question. And many said, well, I just don't know. And many said, well, you know what, as long as it's better than what I'm doing right now. And this is why many times when people have inboxed and have said, Winnie, can you help me find a job? And I've said, no problem. What would you like to do? And many respond this way and they say, you know what? I would do whatever you ask me to do. But why is this? And why do I say you are not ready for the life that you want? The question, what would you do if money wasn't a factor? What this question does in your mind, it removes the worry many associate with becoming or making it in life. What is that? Many people associate money, that if I have money, I could do anything I want. So when I ask you the question, number one, what would you do if money was not a factor? I have removed the limitations in your mind, allowing you to dream beyond your wildest dreams, allowing you almost like a child. This is why I love working with children, because I've removed that limitation in your mind that many people think is the reason why they cannot be something. Whereas the question, what do you do, or what do you want to do or be, leaves you to answer the question through the past or current limitations. Let me repeat that. Whereas the question, what do you want to be or do, leaves you to answer the question through your past or current limitations. When I ask you, what do you want to do? I have not removed the limitations that many of you have answered in the past. You answered this question based on your past, based on your upbringing, based on what your school teacher said about you, based on what your stepmom or your stepdad said about you, based on what the economy says, based on what the media says about you, based on what you look in the mirror and see. You answer that question based on the limitations, because the limitations have not been removed. And this is why I have come to understand it becomes difficult, especially for adults, to answer this question. This is why if you ask a child, what do you want to be when you grow up? They will say, I want to be an astronaut. They will say all these amazing things. Or let me even rephrase it much better. If you go into work and you say to your son or your daughter, what would you want mommy to bring you back when they come back from work? Some will say, mommy, bring me back a helicopter. And they will actually believe that when you come back from work, you're going to turn up with a real life helicopter. Why? Because in the eyes of a child, they are yet to be exposed to the limitations that we as adults have. What kind of limitations? They're yet to be told that you can't do this and you can't be that. As far as the child is concerned, their mind is pure and they believe they can do absolutely anything. So what do I say? You are not ready for the life that you want. Before you ever see a physical manifestation of what you dream, before you ever see a physical manifestation of what you dream, if there were no limitations, you must undergo a mental transformation to see those things that are not as though they are. This is what I believe. It is not your job to figure out how it will be. It is not your job to figure out how all this is going to come to pass. Just like a child. When they ask you, bring me a helicopter when you come back from work. A child does now not stay at home and sit down and begin to worry and concern themselves with how mommy or daddy is going to find the money to buy them a helicopter. No. As a matter of fact, they will start to tell their friends in the neighborhood, guess what my mommy is bringing back from work? Guess what my daddy is going to bring me back from work? My daddy is going to bring me back a helicopter. The child will go away and start to plan. where they're going to park the helicopter, what they're going to clean the helicopter with. They'll begin to live and walk and talk as though they already have the helicopter. Why? Because they believe that their mom and dad is going to give them the helicopter. And yesterday in the group, many of you got the opportunity maybe to walk and see and talk like a child would if there were no limitations. When I asked you the question, what would you do if money was not a factor? And many of you, when I asked you, what do you want to be? You had told me previously, some of you, you did not know what you wanted to be. But when I ask you the question, if money wasn't a factor, what would you want to be? Almost every single one of you knew exactly what they would do if money wasn't a factor. And now imagine like a child. If you're able to remove those limitations from your mind, and even though the job you're doing right now, and even though your current location right now, and even though your bank statement right now, and even though your education status right now, and even though the way you look or appear right now may not reflect or even suggest you are anywhere close to becoming the things you told me yesterday that you want to do. We need to begin to see and act and behave like a child would. Our job is simple. Our job is not to figure out how this is going to happen. But our job is simply this. Believe. Believe it can happen. Because those passions, those desires that you have, those did not land, are not there by accident. But the one who made you has already put on the inside of you everything you need to be what he wants you to be. You come fully equipped. And my job as Winnie Chitaka, my job in empowering Ugandans is simple. It's to help you to understand and recognize you already have what it takes to become the man and woman you are created to be. The reason why you're not acting or doing or moving in the right direction is because somehow your mind has been clouded with worries, with fears, with anxieties, with impossibilities, because you've been listening to the wrong people. You've been hanging around the wrong people. You've been joining the wrong WhatsApp groups. You've been following the wrong Facebook pages. You've been listening to the wrong bloggers. And all these people, a reason why I say they are wrong, because they keep showing you and magnifying the limitations that you already have in your mind. Some of the media that you see, which is, for example, within our Ugandan community, they will show you how bad things are in Uganda. Okay, surely they are. They will magnify the problems. They will magnify the challenges. And as long as you continue to watch and listen and follow, this is all you're ever going to see. The reasons why you cannot become the things you told me yesterday you would do if money wasn't a problem. Because some of the people that you call your friends, some of the people you call your partners, some of the books you read, some of the radio stations you listen to, some of the songs you listen to, the one you call your best friend, even your husband or your wife, keep telling you and they keep magnifying. All they ever show you is limitations. All they ever show you is how you cannot. All they ever tell you that because you came from a poor family, because nobody in your family ever went to university, because nobody in your family has ever gone on the plane or a flight, they keep reminding you of the reasons why you can't. The reason why some of you now testify that since you came to the WhatsApp group, your outlook in life has changed. Your thinking is changing. You're beginning to see yourself as somebody that can. Well, why do you think that is? What do I keep doing in the group? Because I keep showing you that you can. And the more I show you that you can, the things that were seen as limitations start to get smaller and smaller and smaller. Because I want you to focus on the possibilities and not on the reasons why you cannot. So now the things you wrote down yesterday, I want you today to get a pen and paper. Those of you who are new to the group, you must get yourself a book, a pen and a paper, because we get to write things down. We're learning. This is a study. This is a classroom. We are learning from one another. And I want you to do me a favor. I want you to do yourself a favor. Get yourself a pen and a paper. And I want you to write down those things that you said you would do if money was not a factor. Write them down. And I want you to find somewhere that you look every day. It could be a mirror. It could be your fridge. It could be your wall. It could be your bedroom. It could be in your Bible. Just somewhere where you will be able to see these things every single day. And even when things are tough, when your account is zero, when they're calling you at home saying we don't have this and we don't have that, rather than stress of how you're going to make the money, rather than stress and lose weight and attract sicknesses and diseases that you wouldn't otherwise have, I want you to begin to think about the things that you would do if money wasn't a problem. And start to focus on those. Don't try and figure out. I'm not asking you to, don't figure out how you're going to build this hospital. Don't try and figure out how you're going to build the kindergarten. Don't try and figure out how you're going to own lots of land for the agriculture that you want to do. Don't try and figure out any of that. All I need you to do is simple. Write it down on a piece of paper, and I want you every single day to believe you're going to have it. That's it. Just believe. This is why I say you're not ready for the life you want. Why? Because you don't believe it to the fact that you want. Some of you are even afraid to think about it. You're scared to talk about it. But now I want you to have this before you 24/7. That now change your conversation. Just like a child whose parents go to work and they tell them they're going to bring them a helicopter when they return from work. Just like that child will go to school, will go to the neighborhood and begin to tell everyone how their mom and dad is going to bring them back a helicopter. I want you to become like a child. When people are talking to you, by the way, they're going to call you crazy. People are going to think you've lost it. People are going to think you've been out in the Arabic sun too much, that it's fried your brain. That's okay. Don't worry about them. But like a child, I want you to change the way you speak about yourself. I want you to change the way you see yourself. I want you to change what you call yourself. Some of you wanted to open up clinics, wanted to become doctors and hospitals. Begin to call yourself doctor, whatever you want to be. Begin to see yourself as that thing that you were. Begin to practice how you will walk when you have that. Begin to see those of you that want a kindergarten or a school. Begin to see what the uniform will look like. You can even draw their uniform. Begin to picture. What would the classrooms look like? What kind of teacher would you want to teach at this school? I want you to these are the things that you ought to think about. It is said, look, whatever things are good, whatever things are of a good report, these are the things you should be thinking about. For every Ugandan, for every woman in the empowered Ugandan women or men's group that is soon coming. These are the things you should think about. You should not be thinking about how bad it is in Uganda. You should not be thinking about how much money you don't have. You should not be thinking about how sick life is. These are negative things. And thinking about the negative, emotions like worrying and self-pity and anxiety All this give off bad energy, fear. And what that does is attract even more bad things to you. Have you not seen people when they're fearful of something, that things go wrong? You keep saying to yourself, I'm afraid this is going to happen. I'm afraid I'm never going to make it. Well, guess what? You're not going to make it. But that is not going to be our portion. And that is not going to be how we speak in this group. Begin to see it. That thing that you're going to write down from today. I want you to imagine. Imagine those of you that want to grow food. Imagine, start seeing the crops. Start seeing the bananas or the fruits or the mangoes. Start seeing the mangoes being shipped to different countries or to the places. What kind of markets? What markets do you want to sell the fruit at? These are the things you should think about day and night. I promise you, you could be doing the worst job in the world. If your mind is somewhere else, as in thinking of something positive, you're going to begin to enjoy that bad job. Because you will know that this job is not your destination. It's just a stopover. Those of you that have been listening to my Speaking Luganda videos, you would have heard me say that. Many of you are in different parts of the world. When you are traveling, for example, to the United Kingdom or Canada or the US or Dubai, when your flight had a stopover in Kenya, did you get off in Kenya and start to live your life? Did you worry that you've arrived? Did you start to build a life in Kenya? No. Because it was just a matter of time. It was just a stopover, but you were on your way to the destination. Now, what many of you have done, that this current job of a maid, this current job of a security, this current job that you don't like, some of you have mistaken that current job or your current circumstance. You're mistaking that for your destiny because of what you're listening to and because of what people are telling you. But I'm here to tell you, my sisters and my brothers, that's just a stopover. It is foolish. If you build a tent in a Kenyan airport as a stopover, they'll call you crazy. That's crazy. But I want you to understand where you are right now. It's just a stopover. When somebody comes and they start feeling sorry for you and they post on social media, as a matter of fact, let's do something different. When they post on social media and talk about how bad things are, just comment and say, honey, that's just a stopover. We're going somewhere. You're going somewhere. And this is what I want you to focus on. Focus on the things that you answered when I asked you the question, what do you want to do? Or what would you do if money wasn't a factor? So now, do you remember my question? The title of this message? You are not ready for the life you want. Do you see why I say you are not ready? Because you are too busy worrying about things or worrying about where you are and why you could not become. And worrying does not achieve anything. Worrying does not do anything. But from this day forward, I want you to believe. I want you to hang with the right people. I want you to drop the wrong people. Get out of the WhatsApp groups that are not helping you. Stop following the wrong people. Listen to the right things. One of the things I do personally, I listen to the Bible day in, day out. It builds my confidence. It builds my faith. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to stop it here and say this, that no ear has heard, no eye has seen, no mind has conceived what God has prepared for you that love him. God has so much in store for you. You are created differently and unique for a reason. Don't go about changing and trying to be somebody else. You are created differently. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. You're unique. Celebrate your difference. And if the fact has been that you have not been ready for the life that you want, from today, get ready. How are you getting ready? Remove the limitations from your mind. And so what we're going to do today, write down, we're going to dream today. Write down those things that you said you would want to do. And next to them, just start to dream. What would it look like? start to expand. You said you wanted to build a hospital. Now I want you to start to tell me, what kind of hospital would it be? Where would it be? What would the staff members look like? What would they dress like? What would they wear? That's what I want us to continue dreaming in the group. Some of you say you want to build a restaurant. What would your restaurant look like? What would the menu look like? What would the tablecloth look like? Right to every detail. Because even though my sister and my brother, I ask you the question, what would you do if money wasn't a factor? I could guarantee you right now that if I gave you £1 million or 2 million or 10 million pounds, you still would not be able to do things that will make you fulfilled because you don't know yet. You haven't planned for them yet. Life is not an accident. You plan for where you want to be. And this is how you begin. This is how you start to discover what it is you want to do and who it is you want to be. As I finish, I remember when I used to work at the Treasury. I never dressed like any of the ladies who were on the same level as me. And I always said this, I'm not dressing for where I am right now, but where I want to be. Ladies, I'm going to stop it here today. Make sure you join me. Make sure you listen. You may have to listen to this a number of times. Listen to it a few times so that you understand and continue to think about the right things, because Ugandans can. Ladies, you can. Gentlemen, you can. This is Winnie Chitaka, empowering Ugandan women and men for the Uganda Youth Collective. Be sure to tune in tomorrow as we share yet another topic. Thank you and God bless.